Today we're focusing on Georgia O'Keeffe. And even more than that, we're going to focus in on her flowers and how they're larger than life. She made them huge on large pieces of canvases. She would make the proportions seem as if they were bigger than they were. What she would do is she would go out into nature and she'd see several flowers out there. She would see all sorts of flowers out in nature on the ground. But instead of drawing all of the flowers like you see here, she would focus in on one flower. So we're going to be using viewfinders. We're going to use this viewfinder to focus in on just one single flower, and we're going to draw what we see using contour lines, just like we learned last week the way Pablo Picasso used them. So here's the flower I'm going to focus on. Now, she wouldn't make these flowers really small. She would make them big. So we're going to fill our entire paper with this one flower, like we see here. And then we're going to paint it just as big. Georgia O'Keeffe wanted the whole world to see the flowers the way she does. She would walk out and see a flower that looks like this. And she would see several flowers. But she would focus in on just a little bit of it, zooming in really close, like you see here. We're going to use our viewfinder to not focus in on the entire flower, but we want to draw just the closest view. So I'm going to be holding my viewfinder here, and I'm going to be drawing this flower. I want to take up the entire paper. So here's my viewfinder. I'm going to be looking at it just like this, and I'm going to start to draw it. So looking at through my viewfinder here, I'm going to hold it up, I'm going to start to draw, and I see that it has this swirly line here in the middle. And then it swirls out like this, and then it comes here, and I see here that it comes and it makes this S shape. Not all flowers are going to make this S shape like this one here. So I want you to draw what you see in your flower. But this is what I see here. I'm coming out like this, and it's all different shades of yellow and maybe even some oranges down there. But I'm not going to stop by making it a small flower. It's going to wind up being a very large flower that covers up my entire paper. We're going to do this on a regular size paper first, and then I'm going to give you a very large piece of paper once you've perfected the technique. So I'm looking here and I'm drawing what I see, just like our contour line drawings. Taking my time, I'm looking at the things that are on this flower, and I'm drawing it large. Larger than life. It's much larger than the real flower is. That adds an interesting look to it because the proportion of this flower is much larger than you're used to in life. I want it to go all the way out to the edges. Then, the next thing would be to draw it on a large piece of paper like you see here.